changer lifers. Now, if you have a problem with procrastination, and who doesn't? Seriously, who doesn't? Then stay with me because I'm going to reveal a really interesting fact about why we all do this and what to do about it to beat it once and for all. So let's start with the big why. Why do we all do this? Now, I've been looking into this. I've done quite a lot of research into this because I'm fascinated by why this is such a big problem. And what I found out about was something that psychologists call present bias. Now, this present bias is the tendency to overvalue immediate rewards at the expense of long-term goals and intentions. So once you hear about this idea, present bias, you can see it everywhere and you can know that you're in really good company. And I especially see it with my executive coaching clients. Now, these are hugely successful people who are CEO level, who run their own companies, they're entrepreneurs. The issue being that they're so involved in the everyday stuff that's got to be done, and there's loads of it, at the expense of the visioning, the strategizing, the big ideas, time spent on that, looking into that, researching that, thinking about it. So if you procrastinate, know that you are in very good company. And researchers have actually shown that 95% of us procrastinate to some degree in our lives. Now, I don't know who the 5% are that don't, but I've never met them in all of my 10 years in practice. I've never met them in my life. So just know that if you procrastinate, you're in very good company, because I think we all do it. So knowing that, what to do about it. So here are my top 3 tips on how to beat procrastination. Tip number 1, acknowledge the expense of procrastination. So this is where you really need to just take a moment, take a pause and think about the effects on your life of this procrastination. So the effects of not looking at the bigger, more complicated thing in your life that you want to be focusing on. Or if you're the other way inclined like me, look at what this costs you. So go ahead 5 years and think, okay, if I don't do this, if I don't get this done now, if I don't spend the time and energy on doing this, what will it cost me? Where will I be in my life in 5 years' time? So really take the time to acknowledge the impact on your life of not doing the bigger, more difficult thing. Tip number 2, set some time aside for the difficult task. Now, this can either be a half day a week, a full day a month, this can be a morning, whatever it is, make sure you set the time aside and you protect it with your life. Because if you don't, you are never going to get around to doing this difficult thing. Remember, the brain is hardwired to do the easy, so it will come up with all sorts of tricks, all sorts of ways of stopping you take that time on that difficult, more complicated task, but very important task in your life. So set that time aside and guard it with your life, because that is how important it is. Tip number 3, break it down and avoid distractions. I've put these 2 together because I don't want to overload you with loads and loads of tips, but these 2 together are really important. So again, it's working with your brain's tendency to avoid the difficult. So just break it down in, today I'm going to do just this bit. Today I'm just going to research this for 2 hours. Whatever it is, break it down to small, manageable chunks and take away all of the distractions that are social media, emails, the internet, apps, TV, washing, whatever it is, remove it. And there are actually apps, I know it's ironic, that will help you do that. So Pomodoro is one, but there are all sorts of others that will help you do that. For me, I personally have to physically remove my phone, take it out, put it across the landing and shut the door on it. So whatever it is, take away all of those distractions so you can have that concentrated amount of time just on your one task. And that's it. They're my top 3 tips. Just to recap, the first one is really acknowledge the effect, the impact that this procrastination is having on your life. Tip number 2, set out some time in your calendar just for that bigger goal, that more complicated task. And tip number 3, break it down to easy chunks and avoid all of those distractions. So that's it. All you need to do now is take action. And that's my request, that for the next 2 weeks, you allot 2 separate amounts of time in your calendar for this more difficult task that you've been putting off for ages. Let me know in the comment box below how you're going to do that. Thanks for watching.